In the name of Allah, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful, the most merciful.
Linkage of the surah and the wisdom of repeating the words, which of the bounties of your Lord will you deny? The preceding Surah Al-Qamar was mainly concerned with some of the rebellious nations of antiquity who were punished for rejecting the divine message. The description of every punishment was followed by the sentence, "Then how was my torment and my warnings?" Surah Al-Qamar, Ayah 16. This sentence was repeated many times in order to warn people against similar divine punishment. Another verse that was repeated as a refrain at telling intervals is, "And indeed we have made the Qur'an easy for seeking advice." So, is there one to seek advice? Surah Al-Qamar, Ayat 17. This verse urges people to accept the Quranic message, believe in it, and follow its right guidance. Surah Ar-Rahman, on the other hand, mainly describes the boons and bounties of Allah of this world as well as of the hereafter. Thus, when a particular bounty of Allah is described, the verse, "Fabay yele redakuma so, which of the bounties of your Lord will you deny?" is used deliberately as a refrain in order to awaken the people and urge them to give thanks to Allah for His favors. This verse is repeated 31 times in the surah. According to the rules of stylish usage, repetition of an expression serves the deliberate purpose of emphasis. Especially, the repetition in these two surahs of the Quran is repetition only in apparent form. In reality, the repeated sentence is each time related to a new subject, and having its own significance, cannot be taken as redundant. In Surah Al-Qamar, that "Then how was my torment?" Surah Al-Qamar, Ayah 16, has followed the description of each new torment. Likewise, in Surah Ar-Rahman, after the description of every new bounty, the verse, "So, O mankind and jinn, which of the bounties of your Lord will you deny?" is repeated, which being related to a new subject is not redundant. Allama Sayyadi, may Allah have mercy on him, terms this device of repetition as attarded. Arab masters of eloquence regard this device as aesthetically beautiful, polished, effective, moving, forceful, and persuasive use of language. The device is used both in prose as well as in poetry. It is used not only in Arabic, but almost in all the languages of the world, as for instance the most accomplished and consummate poets of Persian and Urdu have used them. This is no occasion to collect samples of their compositions here. Tafsir of Maarif-ul-Qur'an has collected its several examples on this occasion. Was Surah Ar-Rahman revealed in Makkah or Medina? On the basis of a few narratives, Imam Qutb concluded that this surah was revealed in Makkah, and he prefers this view. He records from Sayyidina Jabir, may Allah be pleased with him, that the Messenger of Allah recited this surah before some people who remained silent. The Holy Prophet said, "I recited this surah to the jinns on the night of jinn, and the receptive response was better than yours. Whenever I recited Allah's statements, 'So, O mankind and jinn, which of the bounties of your Lord will you deny?' they said, 'None of your bounties do we deny, our Lord. All praise is due to you.'" This narrative indicates that this surah was revealed in Makkah, because the night of the jinn refers to the night when the Messenger of Allah met the jinns to convey to them the message of the Quran and impart knowledge to them. This incident took place in Makkah. Likewise, Imam Qutb refers to a few more narratives which indicate that this surah was revealed in Makkah. The opening word of the first verse of the surah is Ar-Rahman, the All-Merciful. One of the reasons for beginning the surah with this name of Allah is presumably that the infidels of Makkah were unaware of this name of Allah. They used to say, "What is Ar-Rahman?" As mentioned in Surah Al-Furqan, Ayah 60, this name has been selected here to let them know it. The second reason could be to indicate that teaching the Quran, which has been mentioned in the next verse as Allah's act, was a sheer gift flowing from Allah's beneficence, and not because this or any other act is obligatory on Allah for which He could be held responsible, nor because He is in need of anyone. In the entire surah, Allah's bounties, worldly as well as spiritual, are continuously recounted. The greatest of all bounties is the knowledge of the Holy Quran, because it is an all-comprehensive book directing man in temporal and spiritual matters and in matters relating to this world and the next. Those who heeded the Holy Quran and fulfilled its right, like the blessed companions, Allah raised their status in the hereafter and blessed them with inconceivable bounties and favors. In this world too, they are promoted to such high stations as the greatest of kings were not able to attain.
Taught the Quran.
Grammatically speaking, the verb alama, to teach, requires two objects, the direct and the indirect, one that of which the knowledge is imparted, and two he to whom the knowledge is imparted. Here the first object, the Holy Quran, is explicitly stated, but the second object is not. Some of the exegetes express the view that the second object is the Messenger of Allah, who was taught the Quran directly by Allah, and through him the entire creation. It is possible to look at it from another point of view. The purpose of the Holy Quran is to give guidance to the entire creation of Allah, and to teach them good morals and the righteous deeds. Therefore, no particular object has been specified. The fact that the second object has not been explicitly specified indicates its generality, that is, it refers to the totality of human beings.
Created man.
He has created man. He has taught him how to express himself. Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 4. Man's creation itself is a great boon of Allah, and in the natural order of things he is first and foremost, so much so that even imparting the knowledge of the Quran, which is mentioned first, can only take place after his creation. However, the bounty of Quranic knowledge is mentioned first, and the creation of man later, because the fundamental object of man's creation is to impart to him the knowledge of the Holy Quran, and for him to follow its guidance as stated elsewhere in the Quran. And I did not create the jinns and the human beings except that they should worship me. Surah Ad-Dariyat, Ayah 56. Surely, worship without divine guidance is not possible. The source of the divine guidance is the Holy Quran. Thus Quranic knowledge is mentioned before man's creation. Having created man, uncountable bounties were bestowed upon him. Of them, imparting the knowledge of expression has been mentioned especially, because the bounties necessary for man's growth and development, and his existence and survival, like his food and water, his protection against cold and heat, his dwelling arrangements and so on, are bounties in which all creatures are equal partners. Among the bounties that are peculiar to human beings, knowledge of the Quran has been mentioned first, and it was followed by the knowledge of expressions, because deriving benefit from the Quran and imparting it to others is dependent on the knowledge of expression. The word bayan, how to express himself, comprehends all the means of communication created by Allah, like speech, writing, etc. There are various languages and dialects of various nations and various regions of the world. All these are constituent parts of linguistic knowledge, which is the practical interpretation or application of the verse, and he taught Adam the names, all of them. Surah Al-Baqarah, Ayah 31.
And taught him eloquence.
See Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 3, for the Tafsir.
The sun and the moon move by precise calculation.
Allah's signs. The sun and the moon are bound by a fixed calculation. Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 5. This verse draws attention to two of the celestial bodies from among the bounties of Allah. They are especially mentioned, presumably because the entire system of this world depends on the movement of these bodies in their orbits in perfect succession, according to precise calculation that is never delayed nor disturbed. The word husband with dhamma equals you on the first letter is, according to some lexicologists, used in the sense of hisab, the infinitive, meaning to calculate, like ghafran to forgive, subhan to declare purity, Quran to recite or read. Other lexicologists feel that husband is the plural of hisab. The meaning of the verse, according to the former lexicologists, would be the two bodies on which depends man's entire life, run on fixed courses. They are subject to certain laws, and they perform regularly, punctually, and unerringly their allocated tasks, alternation of night and day, change of seasons, and determination of years and months. If we go by the latter lexicologist's interpretation, the husband is the plural of hisab. Then it will refer to the fact that each of the sun and the moon has its own calculated orbits. The entire solar system is proceeding on the basis of different calculations, and each one of them is so firm and accurate that no deviation has ever occurred since millions of years, even for a second. This age is regarded as an age of ascension for science. The marvelous new inventions of the scientific age have caused wonders even for the philosophers. However, there is a clear difference between human inventions and divine creation, which every discerning person can observe. Human inventions are subject to a series of continuous breakdown and damage, which require to be serviced, repaired, overhauled, or refurbished. A machine, no matter how strong or sophisticated, needs to be repaired or at least serviced after a while. If this is not done in time, it will remain useless. The huge divine creation, on the other hand, needs no repairs, no service, nor refurbishing at any time. Neither the solar system overtakes the lunar movement, nor does the lunar movement outstrip the solar system. The sun and the moon and other celestial bodies each float and move in its own orbit.
And the stars and trees prostrate.
and the vine and the tree both prostrate to Allah. Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 6. The word najah refers to the plants having no stem, and the word shaj refers to any tree with stems or trunk, twigs and branches. All of them prostrate to Allah. Sajda or prostration is the supreme symbol of humility, respect, surrender and unconditional love and obedience of Allah. In this context, the verse means that Allah has assigned a specific task to every tree, plant, creeper, and their leaves and fruits for the benefit of mankind, and they are performing their tasks without the slightest deviation from their assigned duties. The plants without stems and the trees humbly submit themselves to Allah's will. Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 6, read along with the preceding Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 5, shows that everything, from the largest celestial body to the smallest plant, is subject to His laws manifest in nature. A little disturbance and word deviation from their set course would bring down in pieces the whole universe which has been created for the service of man. It is inconceivable, therefore, that man, for whose service this vast and complicated, but perfectly regulated universe has been brought into being, would have been created without a purpose. The life of man surely has a grand divine aim to which repeated reference has been made in this entire surah and in other parts of the Qur'an. There are two types of obedience. One, obedience that is carried out by free will, as for instance, man and jinn are given free will to choose between obeying Allah's laws or disobeying them. And two, all other creation of Allah are assigned specific tasks or duties to perform without any choice. The latter is referred to as takwaniya, or jabriya, compelled or coerced obedience. In the current verse, the word sajda refers to this type of obedience to Allah's laws and nature, where the natural objects have no choice.
And the heaven He raised and imposed the balance.
And He raised the sky high, and has placed the scale. Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 7. The verbs rafa and wada are antonyms. Rafa means to raise up, and wad means to put down. The verse first describes that Allah has raised the heavens. This could have its obvious or outer meaning referring to the physical height of the sky, and it could also have its metaphorical meaning referring to the high status of the heaven in relation to the earth. The heaven occupies a higher position. Normally, the earth is understood to be the opposite of the heaven. From this point of view, the heaven and the earth are treated as opposites and mentioned throughout the Holy Qur'an in that way. Having described the high position of the heaven, the Qur'an goes on to describe that Allah has set the balance, but placing the scale vis-a-vis raising the heaven does not seem to form a suitable pair according to the linguistic norm. As a matter of fact, a closer analysis of the context indicates that the verse is describing the placing of the earth. 3 verses later, verse Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 10 reads, "And the earth is placed by Him for creatures." Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 10. Thus the Qur'an is actually describing the heaven and the earth as opposites. In between the two, a third factor, that of placing the scale, is inserted for a sage reason. The wisdom in this seems to lie in the fact that the verses that follow lay stress on observing justice and fairness. They do not allow violation of rights and practice of injustice. Following the verses referring to raising the heaven and placing the earth are verses that describe the scale and enjoin the correct use of it. This implies that the ultimate purpose of creating the heaven and the earth was to establish justice, peace and harmony. Peace, safety, security and harmony cannot prevail on earth without establishing justice. Without justice, chaos, disorder, mischief and corruption will hold sway in the land. Allah the Pure and the Most High knows best. The word mizan has been interpreted variously. In the current verse, scholars like Mujahid, Qatada, Sadi and others interpret it in the sense of justice, because that is the purpose of mizan scale. Other scholars have taken the word in its obvious sense of a piece of equipment used to determine the weights of people or things. This equipment could be a pair of scales, consisting of a bar with a pan or a dish at each end, or it may be some modern equipment used for the purpose of measuring and weighing. The ultimate sense of this interpretation in any case is maintaining rights and establishing justice and fair play.
That you not transgress within the balance.
So that you should not be wrongful in weighing. Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 8. The earlier verse stated the creation of the scale, and this verse states the reason for its creation. The imperfect verb tatgad is derived from tagyan, which stands for injustice. Thus, verses 7 and 8 put together mean, the mizan or scale has been created so that you may not transgress the balance and thus practice injustice.
And establish weight in justice, and do not make deficient the balance.
And observe the correct weight with fairness. Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 9. The word kiss literally means justice. The meaning is obvious, and observe the weight with equity, and do not make weighing deficient. Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 9. The word qasr means to skimp or make deficient. The opening part of Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 9, was the positive aspect of the injunction, and the concluding part is its negative aspect, in that it is unlawful to fall short of measure or weight. The two parts, positive and negative, put together the verse as a whole means, do not cheat in weights and measures, but rather observe justice and fairness.
And the earth he laid out for the creatures.
And the earth is placed by him for creatures. Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 10. The word anam with fatha equals on the first letter on the grammatical measure of sahab refers to all the creatures that are on the surface of the earth. Baidawi translates the word as everything having a soul. Evidently, the word anam in the verse refers to mankind and the jinn, because only these two species of Allah's creation are obligated to observe the precepts of Sharia. Furthermore, they are addressed throughout the surah. For instance, in the refrain verse, So, O mankind and jinn, which of the bounties of your Lord will you deny? Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayat 13. The dual second-person attached pronouns and the dual forms of the verbs second person sustained throughout Surah Ar-Rahman are addressed to jinn and mankind.
Therein is fruit and palm trees having sheaths of dates,
in which there are fruits. Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayat 11. The word fakir refers to fruits that are normally eaten after food for pleasure, and the date palms having sheaths. Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayat 11. The word akmam is the plural of kim and refers to the cover that surrounds and protects dates and other fruits in the beginning.
and grain having husks, and scented plants,
And the grain having chaff. Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayat 12. The word had means grain, as for instance wheat, gram, rice, a kind of vetch, lentil, and so on. The word as is the outer cover of some type of grains, like rice or wheat husk, which Allah creates with His power and consummate wisdom. Man's attention is drawn to the fact that each grain of the food he eats several times a day has been created by Allah, out of His unbounded grace and beneficence, from soil and water in inconceivably wonderful ways. He protected every grain against insects with the outer cover until maturity, so that it was prepared as a morsel of food. The current verse, thus, briefly points to all those natural things that are so essential for the physical development of man. The mention of husk is to remind that it is the fodder for your animals. This is another bounty of Allah, because man needs the milk of the animals for nourishment. Furthermore, animals are used as a means of transportation to convey human beings from place to place as well as to carry load, cargo and luggage, and fragrant flowers. Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 12. The popular meaning of the word rayhan is fragrance or fragrant plant or sweet-scented plants. Ibn Zayd has interpreted the word thus in the current verse. Allah has produced a variety of fragrances and sweet-smelling flowers on plants and trees. Sometimes the word rayhan is used in the sense of livelihood and sustenance. It is said in Arabic, I came out looking for sustenance provided by Allah. Sayyidina Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him, interprets it in this strain.
So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny?
Mankind and jinn are surrounded by divine bounties. So, O mankind and jinn, which of the bounties of your Lord will you deny? Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 13. The word Ali is the plural, and it means benefits, benefaction, favor, boon, blessing, or bounty. The address is to the two species of jinn and men referred to in verse Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 33 below, and many other verses of Surah Ar-Rahman where jinn are specifically mentioned.
He created man from clay like that of pottery.
The creation of humans and jinns. He has created man from dry clay, ringing like pottery. Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 14. The word insan, man, in this context refers unanimously to Adam. The word salsa clay refers to the wet soil when it becomes dry and heavy. The word fakr refers to the wet soil when it is baked.
And he created the jinn from a smokeless flame of fire.
And created John, father of the jinns, from a smokeless flame of fire. Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 15. The word John refers to the class of beings called jinn. The word marriage refers to the smokeless flame of fire. The major element in the creation of jinn is the smokeless flame of fire, just as the major element in the creation of man is dry-sounding clay.
So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny?
See Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 15 for the Tafsir.
He is Lord of the two sunrises and Lord of the two sunsets.
Allah is the Lord of the 2 points of sunrise and the 2 points of sunset. He is the Lord of both points of sunrise and both points of sunset. Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 17. The sun rises at different cardinal points in the east in winter and in summer. Thus we have the 2 easts Mashriqain. Similarly, the sun sets at different cardinal points in the west in winter and summer. Thus we have 2 wests Maghribain.
So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny?
See Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 17 for the Tafsir.
He released the 2 seas, meeting side by side.
Allah created different types of water. He has set forth the 2 seas that meet together. Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 19. Literally, the verb maraja means to let loose. The word Bahrain, 2 seas or 2 types of waters, refers to sweet and salty waters. Allah has created 2 types of waters. In some places the 2 seas meet together, the samples of which are available in every region of the world. However, where the sweet and salty waters meet, there is a distinct barrier between the sweet and salty waters. In some cases, the 2 types of waters are seen distinctly in higher or lower position. If the salty water overrides the sweet water, the characteristics of the sweet water will not be spoiled, nor will the characteristics of the salty water be affected in any way if the sweet water overrides it. Thus the Quran states, He has set forth the 2 seas that meet together, while between them there is a barrier, they do not transgress. Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 20.
Between them is a barrier, so neither of them transgresses.
See Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 19 for the Tafsir.
So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny?
See Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 19 for the Tafsir.
From both of them emerge pearl and coral.
From both of them come forth the pearl and the coral. Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 22. The meaning of lalu is quite well known, that is, pearl. The word margin too is one of the precious jewels or gems. It is a hard substance formed from coral, which has branches like trees. Both these precious jewels or gems are produced in the waters. It is generally understood that pearls and corals are both hunted or fished for in the salty waters, not in the fresh waters, whereas the verse states that they are fished for in both kinds of waters. It is possible to reconcile the verse with the general understanding. Pearls as well as corals originate in sweet waters where it is not easy to hunt for or from which to fish out the gems or jewels. The sweet waters flow into the salty waters where the substances are carried and deposited. The pearls and corals are brought out from there. Therefore, the source of the pearls and corals is said to be the salty seas.
So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny?
See Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 22 for the Tafsir.
And to him belong the ships with sails elevated in the sea like mountains.
And his are the sailing ships raised up in the sea like mountains. Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 24. The word jawari is the plural of jariya. One of its meanings is ship, and that is the sense in which it is used in the current verse. The word munshat is derived from nasha, which means to rise up or high, be lofty. Al-munshat thus refers to sails of the ships that are lofty. The verse describes the wisdom of making the ship and its running on the surface of the water.
So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny?
See Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 24 for the Tafsir.
Everyone upon the earth will perish.
Allah is the ever-living, free of all need. Everyone who lives on it, the earth, has to perish, and your Lord's countenance will remain full of majesty, full of honor. Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 26 to 27. The attached pronoun, it refers to Al-Ard, the earth, which has been explicitly mentioned antecedently in Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 10, and the earth is placed by him for creatures. Furthermore, the earth is one of those general things that can be referred to by a pronoun even if they are not mentioned explicitly as an antecedent. Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 26 means that man and jinn that dwell on the earth are subject to decay and death. Jinn and man have specifically been singled out in this verse, because in this surah these 2 species of Allah's creation are mainly addressed. This, however, does not necessarily imply that the heaven and the celestial beings are not perishable. In fact, on another occasion in the Quran, Allah has stated in general terms, everything is going to perish except his face. Surah Al-Qasas, Ayah 88.
and there will remain the face of your Lord, owner of majesty and honor.
Your Lord's countenance. Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 27. The word wajh face, according to majority of the exegetes, stands for the being of Allah. The attached second-person pronoun in Rabbi Ka equals your Lord refers to the Messenger of Allah. It is a great honor for him that he should be remembered by Allah in special ways when praising him, as for instance Abduhu, his servant. Here, Allah, the Lord of Lords, declares his direct special relationship with the Holy Prophet and addresses him thus, Rabbi Ka, your Lord. According to the well-known exegetes, the verse purports to convey that since everything including jinn and mankind dwelling on earth will be reduced to nothing and the heavenly bodies all brought to naught, and the whole material universe made non-existent, still human reason demands that there should be a being who should remain and who should never die. Such a being is Allah, who created the whole universe and who is the first and the final cause of all things. He alone will abide because he is self-subsisting, all-sustaining, independent, and beside of all. The word fana has two possible meanings. One, everything is potentially subject to decay and death and is eventually destined to perish, having no capacity for permanence and immortality. And two, all things will actually pass away on doomsday. Other exegetes have interpreted the phrases your Lord's countenance to mean your side, that is, out of all existent beings only those things will attain permanence that are on the side of Allah. This includes the being of Allah and his attributes. He also includes the actions and conditions of Allah's creation that remain firmly attached to Allah, and is never separated from him in any situation. In sum, the verse means, everything that man, jinn, and angels do for Allah's pleasure will remain under his care and protection and as such will attain permanence, never to perish. This interpretation is supported by another verse, what is with you shall end, and what is with Allah shall last. Surah An-Nahl, Ayah 96. The phrase what is with you refers to wealth and power, comfort and discomfort, love and hatred. All these states and matters are transitory and must perish. The phrase what is with Allah refers to man's actions and states which remain firmly attached to Allah and is never separated from him in any situation, are destined to last, never to perish. Allah, the pure and most exalted, knows best, full of majesty, full of honor. Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 27. In other words, the Lord is the master of greatness, grandeur, and tremendousness. This is Allah's majesty that overwhelms his creation and fills them with awe. The Lord is also the master of honor, signifying that those who benefit by the great favors Allah has bestowed upon them and walk in the path of truth and righteousness will be granted more favors by the Lord of honor. Despite being the Lord of greatness and majesty, Allah is not like the worldly kings and rulers who would not pay attention to others or the indigent people. He grants their petition and invocation. The next verse to be analyzed in the forthcoming paragraph bears testimony to this interpretation. The current phrase under discussion constitutes one of those special attributes of Allah which if a suppliant were to invoke before calling upon Allah for help, protection, inspiration, and a host of other things, the supplication will be readily granted as recorded in Tirmidhi, Nasai Musnad of Ahmad. Ibn Amir has transmitted that the Messenger of Allah said, persist in invoking Allah with the Lord of Majesty and Honor. The imperative alizu is derived from the infinitive ills, as which means to continue firmly in some course of action. Majari.
So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny?
See Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 27, for the Tafsir.
Whoever is within the heavens and earth asks him. Every day he is bringing about a matter.
All those in the heavens and the earth beseech him. Every day he is at some task. Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 29. The verse signifies that all creatures stand in need of Allah in all conditions and situations. They all seek his help willingly or unwillingly. The earthly creatures ask for their specific needs. In this world, they need sustenance, health and welfare, and comfort, and in the hereafter, they need forgiveness, mercy, and paradise. The celestial creatures do not eat and drink. They do, however, need Allah's mercy and grace. Allah's grace, forgiveness, and so on surround them all the time. The phrase every day is the adverb of time of the verb beseech. The day is not used in its popular sense, but in the sense of time in general. All his creation, in different regions, in different languages, implore for their needs all the time. Obviously, each member of the earthly and celestial beings has countless needs. Who else besides the absolutely powerful being, the Lord of Majesty, is able to respond to their needs every moment of the time. Therefore, every day is followed by the sentence He is at some task, that is, His attributes know no limit or count, and keep finding their manifestations in diverse ways all the time. He gives life to some and causes others to die. He elevates some and others He abases. Some He. This is according to one construction of the sentence. Other exegetes have taken the phrase every day as relating to He is at some task. The translation of the verse given above is based on this latter construction, which is also adopted by Mulana Thanawi. May Allah have mercy on him. Muhammad Taqi Asmani causes to become ill and others He cures. He alleviates the adversity of some. He causes the aggrieved ones to smile. He grants the requests of suppliants. He forgives the sins of the sinners and makes them deserving of paradise. He gives power to some, and He snatches it away from others and abases them. In sum, every attribute of Allah keeps finding its manifestation in diverse ways all the time.
So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny?
See Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 29 for the Tafsir.
We will attend to you, O prominent beings.
A warning for humans and jinn. Soon we are going to spare ourselves for you to reckon your deeds, O two heavy species. Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 31. The word jam thakalan is the dual of thakal, which denotes burden or load. Thus the word athakalan, the dual form, denotes the two heavy or weighty things, and signifies the men and the jinn as the context shows. In Arabic, the word thakal refers to anything the weight or value of which is well known. It is in this sense that the word has occurred in the following prophetic tradition. Indeed, I leave amongst you two weighty and valuable things which will continue to guide you. Some versions of the tradition state that those two weighty and valuable things are Allah's book and my family, and others state Allah's book and my normative sunnah practices. The end result of both the versions amount to the same thing, because itra refers to both types of family, lineal or spiritual. Therefore, it refers to all the noble companions, may Allah be pleased with him. The end result of the tradition is that after the Prophet there are two things that will serve to guide and set aright the Muslims. One, the Book of Allah, and two, the example of the blessed companions in all their mutual dealings and transactions. The version that uses itra instead of sunnah means the teachings of the Prophet that reached the Muslims through the noble companions, may Allah be pleased with him. Be that as it may, the word thakalain in the tradition refers to the two weighty and valuable things. From this point of view, athakalan in the current verse refers to the two species of Allah's creation, jinn and human beings, because they are the weightiest and most valuable beings possessed of soul dwelling on earth. Then the verse says, soon we are going to spare ourselves for you. The verb safragu is derived from farog, which means to be free from occupation. The antonym of farog is shul, to occupy. The word farog informs us of two things. One, that one was occupied with something, and two, now he has become free from that occupation. This type of farog is common in human beings. However, neither of these senses apply to Allah. He is above them. Surely, nothing will occupy Allah from attending to anything else, nor does he become free or unoccupied like human beings do. Therefore, the verb sanafragu, we are going to spare ourselves to you, is employed as a metaphor. This metaphorical use of the word is common in human speech. This expression is used to show the importance of some work. We are now free to attend to you, being fully focused on you. Anyone who fully focuses attention on any work, idiomatically it is said that he has no other work where he has nothing else to do. In a verse preceding this 29, it was mentioned that the earthly beings ask for their specific needs, such as sustenance, health and welfare, and comfort, and forgiveness, mercy and paradise. The celestial beings need Allah's mercy, grace and forgiveness, which surround them all the time. From this point of view, Allah is, every moment, in a state of characteristic manifestation of His divinity and divine attributes. The verse sanafragu, we are going to spare ourselves for you, indicates that on the day of judgment all petitions, their acceptance and acting on them will come to an end. Of all the manifestations, there shall remain only one manifestation, and that is taking account of deeds and passing judgment with absolute justice and equity. Ra.
So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny?
See Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 31 for the Tafsir.
O company of jinn and mankind, if you are able to pass beyond the regions of the heavens and the earth, then pass. You will not pass except by authority from Allah.
O genera of jinns and mankind, if you are able to penetrate beyond the realms of the heavens and the earth, then penetrate. You cannot penetrate except with an authority. Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 33. In the preceding verse, jinn and mankind were addressed as Athakalan and warned that their deeds will be reviewed and every single one of them will attract reward or punishment. The current verse purports to say that no one will be able to hide from death, nor will anyone be able to escape from attendance or giving account of actions on the Day of Judgment. This verse does not use the expression Thakalan as in the preceding verse, but explicitly uses the expression, O genera of jinns and mankind. Jinn is mentioned first, followed by men, presumably because a high power energy is required to pass through the confines of heaven and earth. Allah has given jinns more power than human beings in such matters. The meaning of the verse is, O company of jinn and human beings, if you think that you will be able to find refuge and thus avert death by avoiding the angel of death, or run away from the plains of gathering or the plains of reckoning, then try to cross the bounds of the heavens and the earth if you have the power and ability to do so. This is no mean task. This requires high-powered energy. The combined forces of jinns and mankind will not be able to harness the energy to go beyond the confines of the heavens and the earth. The purport of the verse is not to show the possibility or probability of passing beyond the zones of the heavens and the earth. The proposition is hypothetical. The purport of the verse is to demonstrate the utter powerlessness and inability of men and jinns to achieve this feat. If the purpose of penetrating through the heavens and the earth mentioned in the verse is to escape death, then it refers to this world and means it is not within the power of any man or jinns to cross the bounds of the heavens and the earth and escape death. This is stated according to human thinking. Otherwise, no one is outside the power and the authority of Allah, even if he crosses the bounds of the heaven and the earth. And if the escape intended by penetrating through the heavens and the earth stands for escaping accountability on the Day of Reckoning, the purport of the verse is to demonstrate its absolute impossibility. For according to other Quranic verses and traditional narratives, the heaven will crack open on the Day of Judgment, and all the angels will border on the sides of the earth, and the people will be hemmed in from all sides. The jinn and human beings will experience the horrors of the Day of Resurrection and run in different directions. In whichever direction they run, the angels will lay siege to the areas that Allah has fortified for the purpose of recapturing the escapees. Ra. This verse does not point to space exploration by rockets and Sputniks. In the present scientific age, experiments are being conducted in an effort to come out of the gravity of the Earth and to explore the heavenly bodies by rockets, Sputniks, and other spacecrafts. Obviously, none of these experiments are conducted beyond the bounds of the heaven. In fact, they are far below the surface of the heaven, let alone crossing the heavenly confines. Thus, this verse has no bearing on space travels and reported incidents of reaching some of the heavenly bodies. Some simple-minded people posit this verse as the basis of demonstrating the possibility of space travels, whereas these simpletons are merely displaying ignorance about the actual meaning of the Quran.
So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny?
See Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 33, for the Tafsir.
There will be sent upon you a flame of fire and smoke, and you will not defend yourselves.
A flame of fire and a smoke will be loosed against you, and you will not be able to defend. Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 35. Say, Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him, and other leading authorities on Quranic exegesis have said that the word shuwas refers to flame or fire without smoke, and the word nuhas refers to smoke in which there is no flame. This verse too addresses the two species of creation, the jinns and mankind. It addresses them and describes how fire and smoke will be unleashed against them. The verse could mean that after the reckoning is over, and the disbelievers are sent to the hell, they will experience two different types of punishment. In some places there will be only fire and flame with no smoke at all. In other places there will be only smoke and no flame or fire. Other Quranic exegetes regard this verse as a supplement to the preceding one, and assign the following meaning to it: O jinn and mankind, it is not within your power to cross the bounds of the heavens. If you do attempt to escape on the Day of Resurrection, then the angels, including those guarding the hellfire, will bring you back by directing the flames of fire and smoke. The verb volantantasuren is derived from intisar, which means to help someone to defend him against a calamity, and thus the words volantantasuren signify that the jinns and mankind will not be able to help each other against divine punishment, try as they might.
So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny?
See Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 35 for the Tafsir.
And when the heaven is split open and becomes rose-colored like oil.
See Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 35, for the Tafsir.
So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny?
See Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 35, for the Tafsir.
Then on that day none will be asked about his sin among men or jinn.
The horrors of the day of resurrection. On that day neither a man will be questioned about his sin, nor a jinn. Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 39. One interpretation of this verse is that no one will be asked whether or not he had committed the sin, because it will have already been recorded by the angels in the ledger of deeds, and Allah has the pre-eternal knowledge of it. The question will be, why did they commit the sin? This is the interpretation of Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him. Mujahid, may Allah have mercy on him, interprets it as follows: there will be no need for the angels of punishment to question the criminals whether or not they committed the sin. They will be known by their special marks. See verse Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 41 below, clearly showing on their faces. The angels will be able to recognize them by their distinguishing marks and hurl them into the hellfire according to the type of misdeeds they might have committed. A composite interpretation of the two explanations is as follows: this event will take place when people will have given account of their deeds, and judgment will have been passed against the criminals to go to hell on the day of reckoning. They will not be questioned, nor will any negotiation be held about their sins at that stage. Their characteristic signs will be seen on their faces, and accordingly they will be hurled into hell. Qatada, may Allah have mercy on him, says that the verse refers to a stage after they will have been questioned about their sins, but they will have refused under oath. Then their mouths and tongues will be sealed, and their hands and feet will be asked to bear witness. At that stage no more questions will be asked from them. Ibn Kathir notes all three explanations. They are close to each other, and thus there is no conflict.
So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny?
See Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 39 for the Tafsir.
The criminals will be known by their marks, and they will be seized by the forelocks and the feet.
The guilty ones will be recognized by the angels by their marks and will be seized by foreheads and feet. Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 41. The word Sima means a sign. Hassan Basri, may Allah have mercy on him, says that the day when sentence will be passed against the guilty to go to hell, the following will be their signs. They will be known by their dark faces and their blue eyes. Through grief their faces will turn pale. The angels will recognize the guilty by these signs and seize them. The word Nawasi is the plural of Nesya, and means forelock. Some will be dragged by their forelocks, and others will be dragged by their feet. Or it could mean that sometimes they will be dragged by their forelocks, and at other times they will be dragged by their feet. The third explanation could be that the angels of punishment will bend their foreheads down to their feet and tie the forelocks to the feet, and throw them into the hellfire. Allah knows best.
So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny?
See Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 41, for the Tafsir.
This is hell, which the criminals deny.
See Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 41, for the Tafsir.
They will go around between it and scalding water, heated to the utmost degree.
See Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 41, for the Tafsir.
So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny?
See Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 41, for the Tafsir.
But for he who has feared the position of his Lord are two gardens.
The delight of the righteous in paradise. The foregoing verses spoke of the horrible punishments to be faced by the disbelievers. In the current set of verses we are told about the rewards and bounties reserved for the righteous believers. The verse Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 46 speaks of two gardens that are exclusively reserved for those who are fearful of having to stand before their Lord. This phrase refers to those fortunate believers who are at all times concerned about reckoning on the day of judgment, and as a result, keep away from all sorts of sins under all circumstances. Obviously, these are the people who enjoy special nearness to Allah. In Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 62 below we read, and lesser than these two, there are two other gardens. Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 62. This verse does not specify the class of righteous believers who will receive these gardens. However, the phrase min dunaima, and lesser than these two, indicates that the gardens mentioned in Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 62 are for the general body of believers who are lesser in their spiritual attainment than the foremost believers who are granted special nearness to Allah. The Quranic exegetes have explained the two sets of pairs of gardens in other ways as well. Here we have adopted the most plausible and preferable explanation, that is, the first two gardens are reserved exclusively for the foremost believers who are granted special nearness to Allah, and the second two gardens are reserved for the general body of believers. That the two gardens mentioned in verse Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 62, are inferior to the first two is supported by authentic traditions. Al-Mukhtasar cites the prophetic tradition from Ad-Durul-Manthur to the effect that while interpreting verses 46 and 62, the Holy Prophet said, "There are two gardens made of gold for believers who are granted special nearness to Allah, and there are two gardens made of silver for the people of the right, that is, for general body of righteous believers." Also, it is recorded in Ad-Durul-Manthur that Ibn Bara ibn Azib, may Allah be pleased with him, said, "The two springs that are flowing freely in the first two gardens are better than the two other springs that are mentioned as gushing forth in the second two gardens in Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 50 springs. In the first two gardens, promised to the believers, have been described as flowing freely and ceaselessly Tadriyan, while in Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 66 springs, in the second two gardens, are described as gushing forth Nadakatan. The quality of gushing forth is the characteristic of all springs, but the quality of flowing is an additional characteristic of specific springs. This is the concise description of all four springs that the inmates of paradise will be given. Related considerations. In verse Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 46, the phrase, "for the one who is fearful of having to stand before his Lord," Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 46, refers, according to most exegetes of the Quran, to standing before Allah on the day of resurrection to give the account of one's deeds. The word fearful signifies that he is mindful under all conditions, whether in public or in private, that one day he has to appear in the court of Allah to give an account of his deeds. Evidently such a person will never go near the sinful acts. Other exegetes, like Qutubi and others, interpret this to mean the one who is fearful of the station of his Lord. That is, he is mindful of the high station of Allah, whereby he is watchful and keeps guard over his words and deeds, overt or covert. All his movements and activities are known to him. This explanation is close to the previous explanation, in that Allah's keeping guard over him will keep him away from sins.
So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny?
See Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 46, for the Tafsir.
Having spreading branches.
Both having what of branches. Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 48, this describes the first two gardens. There will be plenty of trees abounding in branches, and consequently their shade will be dense, and the fruits will be in abundance. The other two gardens are described later. No such qualities are mentioned about them, which may imply their relative deficiency in this quality.
So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny?
See Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 48, for the Tafsir.
In both of them are two springs flowing.
See Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 48, for the Tafsir.
So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny?
See Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 48, for the Tafsir.
In both of them are of every fruit two kinds.
In both there are two kinds of every fruit. The phrase of every fruit denotes that the first two gardens will comprehend all kinds of fruit. As opposed to this, Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 68 simply states fakia equals fruits about the second two gardens. The word zaj in two kinds means every fruit will be of two types. This may be referring to one kind of dried fruits and the other of fresh ones. It could also mean that one kind will be of normal taste and the other of some extraordinary flavor. Majari.
So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny?
See Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 52 for the Tafsir.
They are reclining on beds whose linings are of silk brocade, and the fruit of the two gardens is hanging low.
See Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 52 for the Tafsir.
So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny?
See Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 52 for the Tafsir.
In them are women limiting their glances, untouched before them by man or jinni,
whom neither a man will have touched before them, nor a jinn. Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 56. The word tamth has different meanings. Menstrual discharge is termed as tamth, and the menstruating woman is tamth. It also means sexual intercourse with a virgin. The second sense is meant here in this verse.
So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny?
See Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 56, for the Tafsir.
As if they were rubies and coral.
See Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 56, for the Tafsir.
So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny?
See Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 56, for the Tafsir.
Is the reward for good anything but good?
Is there any reward for goodness other than goodness? Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 60. Having described the two gardens for the intimate believers, it is declared as a principle that a good deed attracts a good reward. The righteous believers will be blessed therefore with good rewards.
So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny?
See Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 60, for the Tafsir.
And below them both in excellence are two other gardens.
See Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 60, for the Tafsir.
So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny?
See Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 60, for the Tafsir.
Dark green in color.
Both dark green. Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 64. This is one word verse, and it means dark green with foliage. The word is derived from itamam, signifying for a meadow or garden, to become of dark green hue inclining to black by reason of abundance of moisture or irrigation. This description is not assigned to the first two gardens. This does not necessarily imply that they do not have this quality. The former gardens are described as of having lot of branches. This comprehends the quality of dark green as well.
So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny?
See Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 64, for the Tafsir.
In both of them are two springs spouting.
See Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 64, for the Tafsir.
So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny?
See Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 64, for the Tafsir.
In both of them are fruit and palm trees and pomegranates.
See Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 64, for the Tafsir.
So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny?
See Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 64, for the Tafsir.
In them are good and beautiful women.
In them there are women, good and gorgeous. Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 70. The word karat, translated above as good, refers to the good character of those women, and the word hisan, translated above as gorgeous, refers to women who have beautiful features. These qualities, too, will be common with the maidens of both the gardens, to which reference was made in the foregoing verses.
So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny?
See Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 70, for the Tafsir.
Fair ones, reserved in pavilions.
See Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 70, for the Tafsir.
So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny?
See Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 70, for the Tafsir.
Untouched before them by man or jinni.
See Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 70, for the Tafsir.
So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny?
See Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 70, for the Tafsir.
Reclining on green cushions and beautiful fine carpets.
Reclining on green cushions and marvelously beautiful mattresses. Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 76. Khamis explains that the word rafraf means silk fabric greenish in color which is used in making carpets, pillows, cushions and other items of decoration. It is mentioned in the Arabic lexicon Siyah that they are embellished with arboreal and floral patterns, which in Urdu is called mushajar. The noun abkari refers to every fine, beautiful fabric or material, and the adjective hisan, beautiful, qualifies it.
So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny?
See Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayah 76, for the Tafsir.
Blessed is the name of your Lord, owner of majesty and honor.
Glorious is the name of your Lord, the Lord of majesty, the Lord of honor. Surah Ar-Rahman, Ayat 78. Surah Rahman is replete with verses that call attention to Allah's blessings, boons and bounties, and His favors upon man. In conclusion, this verse has been appended as a synopsis. What can one say about the pure being? Even His name is glorious. All divine boons and bounties subsist by virtue of His name. Allah the Pure and the Most High knows best.